After being summoned to another world, the male protagonist of this anime, Jinzo, surprisingly conquers 3 harems as soon as he arrives. Unfortunately, he is not interested in sexy beauties. For him, a unicorn is even more attractive than a bathing beauty. It turns out that he is a heavy animal lover whose dream is to open a pet shop in another world. Although he claims to help humans and beasts get along well with each other, he opens the pet shop to satisfy his desire for beastmen. Now, let's reveal how Jinzo opens his pet shop, conquering beautiful women and fierce beasts in another world. The anime begins with the World Wrestling Championship. The male protagonist, Jinzo, is a professional wrestler who reaches the final with his outstanding performance. According to his career plan, he will retire to open a pet shop after winning the World Championship. For him, being surrounded by his beloved animals is the happiest thing. He always wears a beast hood and takes his pet dog, Hiroyuki, with him wherever he goes. After the final begins, Jinzo, accompanied by Hiroyuki, fights fiercely against his opponent. Meanwhile, the princess of another world is summoning the hero to fight the Demon King. Summoned by the princess, Jinzo suddenly disappears from the match site and travels to another world with Hiroyuki. Here, he meets the princess who summoned him. Seeing Jinzo wearing only wrestling pants, the knights guarding the princess think of him as a pervert. Luckily, the princess doesn't care about Jinzo's outfit and asks Jinzo to help eliminate the beasts infesting the kingdom. But for Jinzo, all the animals, even beasts, are so cute that he can't stand anyone hurting them. Furious, he performs a German suplex on the princess, knocking her out. Irritated by his rude behavior, the knights besiege Jinzo. Realizing his mistakes, Jinzo covers the lower part of the princess's body with a cloak, but the princess still holds her feet facing the sky. The knights think Jinzo is deliberately demonstrating to them. Realizing he has irritated these knights, Jinzo hurriedly seizes the chance to escape from the palace with Hiroyuki. After that, Jinzo tries to find someone to ask for directions on the street, but his outfit is so weird in another world that passersby have been talking about him and even plan to ask the hunters to capture him. Unfortunately, wearing a heavy hood, Jinzo cannot hear their discussions clearly. Thinking that it is impolite to talk to people wearing a hood, he decides to take it off first. However, he is chased after by residents and is forced to hide in an alley. Just as he is playing with Hiroyuki, 2 beastmen appear in front of him. They are the cat girl named Misha and the wolfman named Wolfgang. Jinzo is thrilled to see their furry skin. He pounces on Wolfgang and keeps nuzzling his fur. Since Jinzo is very good at dealing with animals, his touch makes Wolfgang very comfortable. Just then, Jinzo notices that a middle-aged man is enslaving a wolf girl. Interested in beastmen, Jinzo wants to help the wolf girl. The middle-aged man is Edgar, who is a lone shark. Misha and Wolfgang are his subordinates. Misha thinks Jinzo is a pervert and asks Edgar to be wary of him. Jinzo immediately clarifies that he is not a pervert, but an animal lover regardless of their race. He argues that someone like Edgar, who enslaves a wolf girl, must be an evildoer. As a result, he performs a suplex, knocking Edgar out. Frightened by him, Misha and Wolfgang flee with Edgar. Feeling regretful for not having stroked the cat girl, Jinzo wants to catch up with them. Just then, the wolf girl stops Jinzo and thanks him. The girl's name is Shigeru. The reason why she was caught by Edgar is that she owed him a large amount of money to start a business. Unfortunately, her business failed and she offered to repay the money with her body. Jinzo realizes that he did something wrong and feels a little regretful. Shigeru hurriedly comforts him that Edgar copied her business model and is not a good person. Because Jinzo is not a local and has no money on him, Shigeru brings him to the Hunters Guild so Jinzo can earn rewards by completing quests. Jinzo is very interested in beasts in another world. After coming to the guild, he expresses his passion for beasts to the guild master and claims that he can live with beasts with deep love at any time. The master can't understand his words and thinks of him as a lunatic. Just as the master doesn't know how to respond, he receives reports from 2 hunters whose team has been attacked by a group of Cerberuses. Hearing this, Jinzo immediately decides to tame Cerberuses. Led by the 2 hunters, Jinzo arrives at the place where Cerberuses appear. As soon as he sees Cerberuses, he falls in love with them. To prevent others from hurting them, Jinzo challenges them alone. He thinks that as long as he has a good relationship with the lead Cerberus, he can tame all the Cerberuses. After observation, he speculates that the lead Cerberus is hidden behind the line. After that, Jinzo uses his wrestling skills to throw off several Cerberuses in front of the line. Then, he hugs the lead Cerberus tightly and nuzzles its fur. Eventually, Jinzo conquers all the Cerberuses without a fierce battle and earns the nickname Beast Killer. which Jinzo hates very much. After the quest is completed, Jinzo buys a suitable outfit with the reward. While eating with Shigeru, he sets his goals in another world. He wants people to understand the charm of beasts, helping humans and beasts get along well with each other. Shigeru admires Jinzo so much that she decides to help him achieve his goal. The two and Hiroyuki, together with Jig, a giant, and Jinzo seemingly befriended from nowhere, form a group. Jinzo intends to open a pet shop. He believes that through raising beasts as pets, humans and beasts will understand each other better. The smart Shigeru quickly figures out the pet store's business model. First, they need to take on quests of capturing beasts to earn rewards. Then, they can raise the captured beasts, and finally earn money by providing customers with tamed beasts. To earn enough money to open the shop, Jinzo and Shigeru decide to complete the quests together, so they go to the guild to select quests. During this time, a hunter hears about Jinzo's defeat of a group of Cerberuses and greets Jinzo. Because he calls Jinzo's nickname Beast Killer, Jinzo gets angry and knocks him against the wall with one punch. Then, he ignores the hunter and continues selecting quests. Unfortunately, he can't read the words of another world, so he can only entrust Shigeru to find the most difficult quest with the highest rewards. Shigeru suggests they start with the simplest quests, but gets rejected. He believes it's important to maintain a challenging mindset and stick to completing the most difficult quest, which is to fight the salamander. Just then, a hunter named He-Haze overhears their conversation. He is also interested in the salamander and invites Jinzo to join his group. Jinzo gets furious when he hears that He-Haze is going to slash the salamander. He throws He-Haze to the ground and warns him not to say anything about hurting beasts anymore. Noticing that He-Haze's sword has fallen to the ground during the fight, Shigeru secretly picks it up. Not able to change Jinzo's mind, Shigeru follows him to the stronghold of the salamander. As soon as they arrive, they are attacked by flames. However, Jinzo believes that flame represents the love of the salamander. He is so fond of the salamander that he not only tames it but also gives it a nickname. After completing the quest, Jinzo and Shigeru get a rich reward. The trustworthy Shigeru immediately returns her share to Edgar. The second quest Jinzo and Shigeru take on is to fight soldier monkeys. Although the soldier monkeys are numerous, Jinzo is not afraid, and he wins their favor with apples. Since the quests of the guild are very simple for Jinzo, he soon captures a large number of beasts. However, there are too many beasts that they have to buy a shop for these beasts as soon as possible. Therefore, Jinzo and Shigeru arrive at the guild and choose the quest with the highest reward, which is to deal with the orcs who have been stealing crops. Since orcs are similar to humans, Jinzo is not very interested in this quest at first, but as long as they complete it, they can earn enough money to buy a shop. To own a pet shop as soon as possible, Jinzo finally accepts the quest. Because orc strongholds are remote, they travel a long journey. Jinzo doesn't want to waste his energy and decides to take a rest beside a lake at night. While Shigeru is bathing in the lake, she feels very shy to see Jinzo walking towards her. But later, she is irritated to find Jinzo's target is not her, but a unicorn in the lake. After the rest time, they arrive at their destination. Jinzo approaches orcs alone and offers to duel the Orc King. The Orc King is irritated by Jinzo and accepts his challenge. However, Jinzo is so powerful that the Orc King has been suffering beating. Eventually, Jinzo performs a suplex on the Orc King to end the fight. The Orc King is conquered by his strength and promises not to steal crops again. Jinzo successfully finishes the quest and buys a shop with the reward. After that, he intends to loan for government deposit needed to start running the shop as a business. Unfortunately, the bank representative, Claus, informs him that if he wants to loan for a full amount, he must have at least 20% of the amount in hand. As a result, although Jinzo bought a shop, he can't afford to start running it as a business for the time being and can only use it as a living place. While he is busy building the shop, Hiroyuki finds a comatose dragon girl in the grass. Jinzo takes her home and prepares food for her. After regaining consciousness, the girl introduces herself as an half-dragon named Linda Brea. But indeed, she is a dragon who can transform into human form. Since dragons are always considered to be dangerous and have a close relationship with the Demon King, Linda Brea has little contact with humans. When she wakes up, she dares not reveal her true identity to Jinzo. Luckily, Jinzo loves all animals despite their race and treats Linda Brea gently. Noticing that Linda Brea is interested in the beasts he raises, he tells her about his goal of helping humans and beasts get along well with each other. However, Linda Brea is a foodie. She is only interested in Hiroyuki and wants to eat him. Jinzo hurriedly stops her. He becomes suspicious about Linda Brea's identity and asks her to find out the half-dragon of her kind in the book. Afraid that her identity would be exposed, Linda Brea instantly finds a reason to flee. After Linda Brea leaves, Shigeru returns home. having a sensitive sense of smell. She immediately feels the smell of dragons. Although Jinzo explains that he saved a half-dragon, Shigeru remains suspicious. Luckily, Jinzo doesn't care much about Lindabria's identity and only wonders the quest Shigeru found in the guild. Led by Shigeru, Jinzo meets the guild master again. The master tells them that many residents have been attacked at night lately. Based on their wounds, the culprit may be a dragon. Just then, Heat Haze and his teammates overhear their conversation. He is interested in dragons and offers to work with Jinzo to become a dragon slayer. Irritated by his words, Jinzo teaches him a hard lesson. To prevent Heat Haze from harming the dragon, Jinzo decides to tame the dragon and takes Shigeru with him to the crime site. Upon arriving at their destination, Shigeru smells the dragon again, which is exactly the same as what she smelled at home. She is more confirmed that Jinzo picked up a dragon. Still, Jinzo doesn't believe the culprit will be Lindabrea. He goes back home to change his outfit, which includes his wrestling suit, a cloak, and a beast hood. Then, he returns to the scene alone. This time, he prepares a cage and tries to lure the dragon with special food made by him. As expected, Lindabrea is attracted by the aroma of food and walks into the cage. Unfortunately, Jinzo's outfit is so weird that passing hunters take him for a pervert who kidnaps the girl. As a result, Jinzo is forced to flee. Surprisingly, Lindabrea also destroys the cage door violently and follows Jinzo. During their escape, they meet Carmilla, who is actually Lindabrea's vampire maid. She also takes Jinzo as a pervert and warns him to stay away from Lindabrea. In contrast to her will, Lindabrea and Jinzo hit her with stones. Carmilla is so angry that she attacks Jinzo but is easily defeated by him. Immediately afterward, Jinzo asks Lindabrea to wear the same hood as him to evade the hunters, believing that they will be treated as a couple with a similar hood. Thankfully, the first person they meet is Shigeru. She recognizes Jinzo and takes them home. Unbeknownst to them, Carmilla has been following them. Later, when Jinzo asks Lindabrea to reveal her true identity, Carmilla appears in front of them. Shigeru recognizes Carmilla as a vampire. She gives Jinzo holy water and garlic to fight Carmilla. Sprayed with holy water and suffered with smelled garlic, Carmilla feels very painful. Lindabrea can't bear to see her suffering. She quickly explains that Carmilla is her maid and hopes they stop hurting Carmilla. It turns out that Lindabrea is a noble. She is the eldest daughter of the Fafner family, which is among the 4 families serving the Demon King. Not long ago, she ran away from her family, so Carmilla came to this town in search of her. Jinzo thinks Lindabrea is too young to go out alone. Worrying about her, he asks her reason for running away. Lindabrea has to reveal her story. As the heir of the Fafner family, she had to take on strict fighting training every day and could only eat orc's meat. She had long been tired of life in the mansion and wanted to explore the outside world so that she can enjoy different foods she had never tasted. Later, she meets Hiroyuki. Believing their encounter is a fate, she offers to stay in the pet shop to help. Carmilla is very respectful of Lindabrea's thoughts and doesn't stop her, because Lindabrea offers to stay without any salary. Both Jinzo and Shigeru decide to hire her. After that, Jinzo wonders who is attacking humans. Surprisingly, Carmilla voluntarily admits that she is the culprit. Jinzo is so angry that he punishes Carmilla with a suplex. As their family growing larger, Shigeru realizes that they not only can't afford to open a pet shop, but they nearly can't afford meals. Although she is busy making money every day, other family members never think about working. One day, Shigeru is irritated to see Jinzo bring another cat home. Additionally, he's also trying to attract their neighbor, the Kobold Wife's attention. Shigeru is so angry that she immediately throws the cat out. Just then, Claus comes for a visit and asks if they have earned enough money for a down payment. Noticing that there are several members in Jinzo's family, Claus suggests everyone go out to work to earn the down payment. Jinzo accepts his proposal. As a result, Shigeru works as a waitress in a restaurant. Jinzo earns money through manual labor. Lindabrea, who is a foodie, participates in the eating contest to get prize money. Carmilla also wants to get a job, but she is always mistaken for providing special services. Eventually, in addition to Shigeru, no one successfully makes money. The participants of the eating contest needed to pay for the food they ate, but the prize money Lindabrea received was far less than the money she paid for food. Carmilla received a lot of money from men, but she couldn't provide the special services they wanted and had to return the money. Jinzo was fired from his employer for playing with animals during work. Shigeru realizes that none of her partners are suitable for part-time work and can only ask the guild master for help. The guild master then entrusts her with a quest to hunt a griffin. Shigeru is impressed by the huge prize and immediately informs Jinzo, Lindabrea, and Carmilla. After discussion, they decide to accept the quest. because Jinzo knows nothing about griffins. Shigeru consults the book for him. It turns out that griffins will breed 2 babies at a time. Then, the griffin parents will force the 2 babies to fight, raising only the winning one while abandoning the losing one. Learning of this, Jinzo is furious. Later, he encounters 2 griffin babies who are fighting. He immediately saves the defeated one. The griffin parents are so angry that they immediately attack the group. To protect other partners, Carmilla is bitten by the female griffin. Jinzo gives the griffin baby to Shigeru and asks her to rush home first while he tries to attack the male griffin. Although Jinzo is very strong, he cannot defeat griffins. Seeing Jinzo get injured, Lindabrea tries to attack griffins and taste their meat. However, the griffin's meat is not as delicious as she thought. She loses interest and returns home with injured Jinzo and Carmilla. Since they didn't defeat the griffins, they failed to receive huge prizes. Soon after, the baby griffin grows up under the care of Jinzo. To buy food for beasts, Shigeru sells Hei's swords for money. It turns out that every time Jinzo defeated Hei's, she will pick up Hei's sword. Because these swords are made of rare materials, she earns a lot of money by selling them. Jinzo's otherworldly adventure continues. To earn the down payment, the team accepts the quest to collect mandrakes, which are plants, so Jinzo has no interest in the quest. In contrast to him, Lindabrea is so fond of mandrakes' special aromas that she forgets their purpose of collecting the plants and eats them all. Meanwhile, Hiroyuki is enticed by Misha and Wolfgang while playing at home. To avenge Jinzo, the two decide to take advantage of Jinzo's absence and steal Hiroyuki. Luckily, Jig is at home and stops them. He is very powerful and easily defeats Misha and Wolfgang. After returning home, Jinzo learns that Hiroyuki has almost been stolen and gets furious. At his request, Jig draws the faces of the 2 culprits. Jinzo remembers that they are the 2 beastmen he encountered at first. After learning of their residence, Jinzo rushes there. He exerts all his strength and knocks Wolfgang out with 1 punch. Then he grabs Wolfgang hard and throws him to the ground with a wrestling move. The familiar move reminds Jinzo of that unfinished wrestling match, and he begins to miss his previous life. Unbeknownst to him, his opponent Mao is crazily missing him, because Jinzo suddenly disappeared in the championship match. Mao mistakenly thought Jinzo was so disgusted at fighting with him that he escaped during the process. Since then, Mao has become depressed and refuses to wrestle anyone except Jinzo. The doctor thinks he is too focused on Jinzo and suggests he find something else to divert his attention. Following the doctor's advice, Mao begins knitting sweaters at home. Unfortunately, the pattern he knits is still Jinzo wearing a mask. Just when Mao misses Jinzo, he is summoned to another world by the heir princess of all vampires, Joanna, who also comes from one of the 4 families serving the Demon King. Knowing that the hero has been summoned to another world, she holds a ceremony to summon the Demon King, intending to defeat the hero with the Demon King. As a result, Mao is summoned to another world. Joanna shows him a portrait of Jinzo and asks him to defeat Jinzo. Mao is thrilled to learn that Jinzo is also in another world. Through his behavior, Joanna realizes that he may be Jinzo's opponent, which makes things much easier for her. Now, let's move on to Joanna's story. Joanna has been learning martial arts since childhood, and she has always dreamed of becoming a champion in fighting competitions. Later, she lost to Lindabrea in the fighting competition and felt very reluctant. After the competition, she challenged Lindabrea to a deal again, but no matter how many times she tried, she couldn't defeat Lindabrea. So Joanna decided to change her strategy and began secretly observing Lindabrea, intending to find the secret of her powerful strength. Luckily, they are all heirs of the 4 families serving the Demon King, so the relationship between their families is quite close, and she had many opportunities to contact Lindabrea. However, after some time of observation, she discovered that Lindabrea was completely a foodie, and she couldn't find any secret behind Lindabrea's powerful strength. After they grow up, Joanna met Lindabrea at a clan banquet for the 4 families. As before, Lindabrea was only interested in food. She followed Carmilla, intending to taste the dishes at the banquet. Joanna stopped Lindabrea. She claimed that Carmilla was the weakest vampire and was unworthy of being Lindabrea's maid. To replace Carmilla with a vampire maid under her control, Joanna offered to select the strongest vampire maid for Lindabrea. However, Lindabrea rejected her proposal. Dissatisfied, Joanna offered to have a competition between her maid, Rose, and Carmilla. Because Joanna had been humiliating Carmilla, Lindabrea agreed to her proposal. After the competition began, Rose and Carmilla had a fierce battle. As Joanna said, Rose is much stronger than Carmilla, and Carmilla could only suffer a beating. Satisfied with the result, Joanna suggested Linda Brea abandon the competition. Linda Brea was very distressed to see the injured Carmilla. Not willing to see Carmilla continue suffering beating, Linda Brea interrupted the fight before it ended, but she didn't want Carmilla to leave her. To continue hiring Carmilla, she knelt to Joanna as requested. Joanna was thrilled to defeat Linda Brea for the first time. However, after that, Linda Brea started her revenge. Linda Brea's family possesses the most powerful martial arts among the 4 families. As Carmilla's master, she couldn't stand her maid being humiliated, so she challenged Joanna to a duel as the family heir, to prevent her dress from being damaged. She even took it off in advance. Facing the crazy Linda Brea, Joanna was terrified to the extreme, but she couldn't defeat Linda Brea and could only suffer beating as Carmilla just now. Feeling very humiliated, she has vowed to defeat Linda Brea from then on. Later, she learned that Linda Brea ran away from her family and guessed that Linda Brea wanted to gain glory by defeating the hero. To defeat the hero before Linda Brea, she summoned the Demon King, Mo. As Joanna's story comes to an end, let's return to Jinzo's adventure in another world. One day, a hunter, Seals, visits Jinzo's house. She hears that Jinzo is very powerful and offers to challenge him. However, Jinzo only takes 5 seconds to knock her down, and she doesn't even have a chance to fight back. Because Seals must grow stronger for some reason, she offers to be Jinzo's apprentice and train with him. However, Jinzo is not interested in humans and refuses Seals' request. Seals still insists. She takes Jinzo's hands and asks for training again. As a result, Jinzo is forced to have physical contact with her. During this time, he senses something strange after touching Seals' body. He lifts the hem of her dress and is surprised to see her lizard-like belly. It turns out that Seals is a half-human, half-lizard beastman, but only her belly and back remain to be lizard-like. Jinzo loves her unique body parts. He accepts Seals as an apprentice and decides to take her to the mountains for special training. Because Jinzo is interested in Seals' belly and back, he arranges special training for her abs and dorsal muscles. In addition to him, Shigeru and Linda Brea are also actively helping Seals with her training. With their help, Seals grows much stronger. Later, Seals reveals her reason for growing stronger. It turns out that other hunters in the guild often humiliate them for being a lizard man, so she wants to grow stronger to beat them up. Learning of this, Jinzo is furious and breaks into the guild instantly, intending to teach those who humiliated Seals a hard lesson. Seals hurriedly stops him. She explains that she wanted revenge on the hunters at first, but now she has grown strong with the help of Jinzo, and the past experience will no longer bother her. Hearing Seals' experience, the guild masters and hunters all apologize to her. To prove Seals' strength, Jinzo proposes a contest. Seals also wants to test her strength, and she challenges a male hunter to a duel. At first, she uses her beauty to confuse her opponent and secretly observes his flaws. Then, she uses the wrestling skills Jinzo taught her and defeats the male hunter. Although Seals has reconciled with the hunters, Jinzo worries that the hunters will humiliate others. The guild master then explains why hunters will humiliate the weak. Recently, a new beast has appeared in the town. It not only snatched their prey but also attacked them with strange methods, which bothered them a lot. They were so angry that they couldn't help but turn their anger to Seals. Then, the hunters apologize to Seals again. Learning of this, Jinzo also forgives them. On the way back, Jinzo and his partners meet Claws. He just watched Seals' competition with the hunter. Thinking it interesting, he plans to hold a fighting tournament. He invites Jinzo to be a fighter and offers to pay Jinzo a lot of money. Jinzo is also eager to fight, so he accepts Claws' invitation. Later, Jinzo helps build a ring. Additionally, he tries to include beastmen in the matches. The first beastman Jinzo wants to invite is the kobold husband. He goes to Kobold's house and meets the husband. Seeing the strong figure of the kobold husband, Jinzo is very satisfied. To convince the kobold husband to join the tournament, they conduct a competition, which reminds the kobold husband of his youth as a warrior. Feeling nostalgic, he agrees to participate in the tournament. Then, Jinzo tries to ask Wolfgang. He goes to Wolfgang's residence to invite him but gets rejected. However, his henchman, Michi, offers to participate in the tournament to avenge Jinzo. After that, Jinzo encounters several orcs. They adore Jinzo so much that they stop stealing crops and have been working hard to beautify the city. Touched by them, Jinzo also extends invitations to orcs. Thanks to Jinzo's efforts, more and more beastmen are participating in the fighting tournament. Jinzo takes wrestling very seriously. He teaches fighters himself, so they can make matches more entertaining while obeying the rules. Meanwhile, Shigeru is busy selling peripheral products. Among these products, muscle photos of the fighters are the most popular. Soon after, the tournament begins. The fighters engage in fierce matches and the audience is cheering them up. Jinzo forms the team with Carmilla, and their opponents are Hihei's and Misha. Interestingly, Wolfgang also comes to watch the match. To make the match more entertaining, the sponsor, Claus, asks Wolfgang to replace Hihei's. Seeing Wolfgang, Jinzo gets very excited, because he keeps stroking Wolfgang's fur. Wolfgang can't concentrate on the match. As a result, Jinzo and Carmilla win the match. Seeing humans and beastmen living in harmony, Shigeru is very touched. Just then, the merchants at the tournament ask her for money. The bills include things destroyed during practice, Lindabria's meals, Carmilla's beer, and the celebration banquet. Shigeru gets furious after spending all the tournament profits on the large bill. After the tournament, a princess suddenly visits Jinzo's house. Jinzo once performed a suplex on her, causing her to lose face in front of her knights. As soon as the princess sees Jinzo, she accuses him of his rude behavior. Carmilla and Lindabrea mistakenly think Jinzo harassed the princess and immediately subdue him. Even Shigeru suggests Jinzo turn himself in and promises to visit him in prison every day. Jinzo is very confused. He vows that he is only interested in animals and cannot act rudely to girls. He carefully observes the princess's appearance and finally recognizes her as the one who summoned him to another world. Irritated, he performs a German suplex on the princess again to prove himself. The princess feels very humiliated, but she hasn't forgotten her purpose in finding Jinzo and asks Jinzo to help fight the Demon King. Carmilla believes that Jinzo is just a pervert who loves beasts and cannot be the hero. The princess is very dissatisfied with Carmilla's attitude. After all, Jinzo is the hero summoned by her, and she cannot mistake his identity. When the two girls are arguing, Jinzo questions why the hero must go against the Demon King. The princess explains that the Demon King is the king of beasts, symbolizing evil, while the hero stands for righteousness. Therefore, defeating the Demon King is the responsibility of the hero. However, Jinzo has no interest in fighting the Demon King. He just wants to open a pet shop and make beasts a good friend of humanity. The princess thinks his thoughts are very depraved, so she decides to get rid of Jinzo and summon a new hero. She asks her knights to attack Jinzo. Surprisingly, even the strongest knight in the kingdom cannot defeat Jinzo. The princess is conquered by Jinzo's strength. Since then, she visits Jinzo's house every day, persuading him to fight the Demon King. Even though Jinzo always performs suplex on her, she refuses to give up. A few days later, Jinzo begins to be curious about the race the Demon King belongs to and decides to tame the Demon King. To get more information, he comes to the guild master with Shigeru. Knowing that he intends to fight the Demon King, the master and the hunters are very supportive of his decision. But Jinzo is disappointed that he gets no useful information at the guild and can only turn to his partners. However, Lindabrea is a member of the Demon King's army, and she doesn't want Jinzo to get information about the Demon King. Carmilla, wanting to help Lindabrea, deliberately tells Jinzo some misinformation. Following her instruction, Jinzo draws a portrait of the Demon King. Just then, the princess comes to Jinzo's house. Jinzo shows her the portrait, but the princess casually throws it to the ground. Irritated, Jinzo knocks the princess down with the suplex. While scolding Jinzo for being shameless, the princess informs him that the Demon King's army has summoned the Demon King to another world. Meanwhile, Mao leads his tamed beasts to the orc's stronghold, intending to find Jinzo and defeat him. The orcs recognize his moves are similar to Jinzo's and accidentally say Jinzo's name. The orc king doesn't want to betray Jinzo and has a fierce conflict with Mao. Soon after, Jinzo and his partners encounter several orcs while searching for the Demon King. They follow the orcs to the village and learn that someone has been looking for Jinzo. But the orc king is very loyal to Jinzo and didn't reveal any information about him. Luckily, an orc is very good at drawing, and he draws the appearance of Demon King, who is Mo. Soon after, the princess informs Jinzo that the Demon King is attacking the surrounding villages. She doesn't want residents to be hurt and hopes Jinzo can help fight the Demon King. Jinzo knows that the Demon King is Mao instead of a beast. Losing interest in fighting the Demon King, he ignores the princess and prepares to take Hiroyuki for a walk, only to find Hiroyuki has gone missing. Just then, Claus arrives and tells them that he saw Hiroyuki in a noble's mansion. As a result, they rush to the noble's mansion. However, the noble reveals that he purchased Hiroyuki for his daughter and shows them the purchase certificate. He claims that he spent lots of money on Hiroyuki and refuses to give Hiroyuki back unless they return the money. Unfortunately, Jinzo doesn't have so much money on him. not willing to lose Hiroyuki. He can't help but cries out of desperation. Luckily, the noble's daughter is very kind. Learning that Jinzo is Hiroyuki's owner, she can't bear to see them separate. Because Jinzo cannot afford the money, she asks her father for a reduced price. The noble grants his daughter's request, so Jinzo and his partners rush home to take money to get Hiroyuki back to them. Shigeru takes all the prepared funds for opening the shop. In the end, Jinzo successfully retrieves Hiroyuki. Before leaving, Shigeru asks the noble who sold Hiroyuki to him. The noble reveals that it was a strange group including a bearded middle-aged man, a cat girl, and a wolf man. Jinzo immediately realizes that they are Edgar, Misha, and Wolfgang. Furious, he rushes to Edgar's residence. The trio is celebrating at home when Jinzo breaks in and teaches them a hard lesson. After that, Jinzo and his partners return home with Hiroyuki, only to see Mao, Joanna, and Rose waiting for them there. Mao has always been concerned about the unfinished wrestling match and offers to fight Jinzo. Claus, who is passing by, overhears their conversation. He proposes to hold another fighting tournament and is approved by all. Carmilla wants to defeat Rose at the tournament and asks Jinzo to teach her wrestling skills. Soon, Shigeru makes the battle schedule. The tournament will include 5 matches, with the final match being Jinzo vs Mao. But the current members of Jinzo's team are only enough to attend 4 matches. As a result, Jinzo decides to invite Wolfgang and Misha to join them. He and Shigeru go to Edgar's residence and successfully persuade Edgar by the appearance fee to defeat their opponents. All fighters are working very hard before the tournament. This time, it has become more popular than the last one, and even the venue has expanded a lot. The first group from Jinzo's team is Hei's, Seals, and the Princess. The Princess is responsible for provoking opponents, so she wears a hood and even changes into a very sexy outfit. Although she doesn't have any fighting power, she still has fun in the process. Has and Seals are both powerful and they easily defeat their opponents. Later, the Orc King and the Kobold husband work together and quickly win the second match for Jinzo's team. Unfortunately, in the third match, Misha and Wolfgang are defeated by their powerful opponents. After that, it is Carmilla's turn to fight Rose in the fourth match. Carmilla keeps the wrestling tips Jinzo taught her in mind. That is, no matter how strong the opponents are, there will be times when they slack off. So she deliberately shows her flaws and falls to the ground. Then, she takes advantage of Rose's slack and launches a counterattack. Rose hasn't prepared and is knocked down by Carmilla. Carmilla thinks she has defeated Rose and is thrilled. However, she celebrates too early, so Rose gets up and knocks her down before the match ends. Although Carmilla loses the match, it was a good match, so both Jinzo and Linda Brea are proud of her. After that, Jinzo faces Mao in the final. Mao once lost to Jinzo in a match and felt very reluctant. Since then, he has determined to defeat Jinzo and has been working hard to improve his wrestling skills. As a result, he has always regretted not having a chance to defeat Jinzo in that final. After the match begins, Mao complains about Jinzo's escape during their last competition. Jinzo quickly clarifies that he didn't run away but was suddenly summoned to another world, and he has also regretted not finishing that competition. Learning that Jinzo has never been disgusted at becoming his opponent, Mao settles with him. Later, the two share their recent experience while fighting and realize that they have a similar experience. They are both forcibly summoned to another world and asked to defeat each other. In fact, Mao doesn't care much about the Demon King's army. He just wants to defeat Jinzo. Soon, he seizes the opportunity and throws Jinzo to the ground. Unfortunately, Mao is extremely afraid of animals. Because Hiroyuki keeps barking at him on the side of the ring, Mao feels very scared. Joanna and Rose have been observing the situation. They find Mao's weaknesses and secretly take Hiroyuki away. Jinzo jumps out of the ring when he realizes that Hiroyuki has been taken away. He snatches Hiroyuki back and gives it to Jig. Mao is very upset to be ignored by Jinzo. The contradiction between the two teams expands. Later, the match turns into a brawl between two teams led by Jinzo and Mao. Luckily, the referee stays calm, urging Jinzo and Mao to return to the ring. After the match resumes, Jinzo wins the match by a landslide. Although Mao loses to Jinzo again, he doesn't complain and admits Jinzo is a good wrestler. After the game, Linda Brea and Joanna have a conversation. Linda Brea claims that it is her job to observe the hero and she will not tolerate Joanna interfering anymore. Unable to defeat Linda Brea, Joanna flees in a hurry. Meanwhile, Claus gives the prize money and ticket revenue from the tournament to Shigeru. However, she also needs to pay for Linda Brea and Carmilla's meals, as well as the compensation for the stall and ceiling destroyed by Jinzo. The Prophet cannot afford these bills, and they even owe a large amount of money. Furious, Shigeru wants to teach Jinzo a hard hard lesson, only to find him at the celebration banquet. Additionally, all fighters from the two teams are present and the atmosphere is very harmonious. Seeing humans and beasts get along well with each other, Shigeru realizes that this is what Jinzo has been pursuing. Touched by the scene, Shigeru stops losing her temper. At the end of the anime, Shigeru sells all the swords she picked up to earn the down payment for opening the pet shop. Mao decides to continue training and compete with Jinzo again. Jinzo goes to the guild every day to receive quests to achieve his dream of opening a pet shop. I believe, with the efforts of Jinzo and his friends, Jinzo's pet shop will soon be opened. Here brings the end of this anime. The story of Kemono Michi focuses on a hero from modern Japan, who is summoned to save another world. However, different from the protagonists in other isekai anime, although Jinzo is a professional wrestler with great combat power, he is unwilling to save the world and is only interested in animals. Every time he encounters animals, he can't help giggling, which always amuses me. If you're feeling a little upset right now, try this relaxing anime to bring a smile back to your face. Well, that's all for today's video. If you liked this video, remember to give it a like and subscribe to my channel. There are also many interesting recaps on my channel. See you in the next video. Bye!